Good morning. I'm Deborah, Stitching Granny at 17. Today is May 19th, and it's a beautiful day. We're expecting some rain in a little while, but right now the sun is shining and it's just a beautiful morning. I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for joining me today, for subscribing, and for hitting the thumbs up. Today, this channel is basically about cross stitch. I will have a little bit of quilting at the end. I'm going to try to implement my quilting at the end of each video. So if you're not interested, I'll give you plenty of warning when the quilts are going to make their arrival. I hope every one of you had a wonderful Mother's Day, as wonderful as I had. I had many blessings show up at my house, my whole family. So we had a wonderful time. I made some cupcakes for all the grandbabies so they got to enjoy them. I usually make cookies because they like my cookies, but I didn't that day. I want to start off with some stitchy kindness. As y'all know, my birthday was Sunday, and it's always right there with Mother's Day. So I'll try to keep this stitching related. Either a stitching friend that's on FlossTube sent me something, or stitching items. I received so many items and I'm truly blessed. I thank each and every one that has gifted me so many things. First, I received early from my friend Dottie, Stitchin' Scotty. She sent me this beautiful card, and it's a happy birthday card. She knows me well and sent me this oven mitt. I love chickens. My daughter raises chickens, but I like the ones that aren't so real. I don't want to have to take care of them. One of the ladies that won the project bag, her name is Glee. Glee sent me this beautiful thank you card and wishing me a happy birthday. And she also sent me some money for mailing. I appreciate that. It wasn't necessary, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying that bag. She said it was the first bag she's had. So she's on vacation visiting, so she took it along with her stitchy stuff inside. And then a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, Rhonda, she sent me this rotary cutting mat. She asked me what I wanted, and I said, well, the one I have is really approaching its last leg, so to speak. So she went ahead and sent me this nice cutting mat. I appreciate that. Thank you, Rhonda, so much. Okay, now we're going to get on to some stitching stuff. I'm going to start off with finishes. I have two really big finishes. Okay, as y'all know, I was working on Flea Market Baskets by Lori Holt. I had to finish this. So this is stitched on 14 count, and it's by Swagart Ivory. And I used all the called for flosses. And I started this February the 25th, and I finished it the first week of this month. So this was fun, and I've decided I'm going to turn this into a pillow. As you remember, I turned my Prim series pillow. I did 9 blocks on it, and I turned it into a pillow because it was square. So I believe I'm going to turn this one into a pillow and put it on that bed, that Afghan that my grandmother had stitched many years ago. We have another really big finish. This is Christmas morning at Santa's Kitchen. And I saw Chrissy, finally a farm girl, stitch this, and I said I had to do it. And this one was started December the 24th, and I finished it on the 18th. And all I had to do to finish it, because I had it pretty much done a couple of weeks ago, but I had to do the flowers in the borders, and I went back and did some Smyrna stitches on Santa's beard, just to give it a little bit of texture. I hope that's showing up on there. So, you know, Mrs. Claus, she's got the French knots in her hair. So it's ready to be framed, and as you can tell, I didn't leave myself very much room. There is a downside to sewing fabric on the side. Sometimes you tend to start a little bit too close. I don't think my fabric was quite cut large enough, but I can make it do. Okay, I had a few fully finishes, and one of them was Annabella has cross stitch school, and she has this pattern. You can go to Annabella's, and she has where you can download the patterns, and I turned mine into a pillow. Now I changed the house on mine to a yellow, and this one was stitched on 28 count, and it was a mystery cloth, so I don't know the name of the fabric, but I used a variegated floss for my trees. I had worked on the flea market flowers, but I never completed finishing all the little pillows, so I went back and I saw that they were laying in my pile, so I decided to finish them. And I finished this one into a little pillow. And I like that little button. It's a little snail. And I didn't put any lizard glitter in this one, but I just put a piece of lace, a vintage piece of lace on the back where I had cut it. So I think it turned out okay. So these little pillows are fun to make. I much rather turn something into a sewing project than frame, but I'm getting there. After doing the vintage housewife, I think I'm ready to frame something else. So I'm going to try on the Christmas morning. And then here's the other pillow that I did. And on the back of this one, I used a piece of hand-dyed wool. So it's kind of variegated. I need to stick some buttons or something on here, but I haven't. But nobody's really going to see it unless they pick it up. But when my children and my grandchildren are here, my almost 2-year-old granddaughter was having fun playing with my pillows, so they may get some use. My next fully finished is by Darlene Dion Designs. She has a floss tube, and she has recently started to design cross-stitch patterns. She's been designing quilt patterns, and she's got some beautiful stuff. And while I'm there, before I show you this piece, she has offered 2 patterns. One's a quilting pattern, and one is a cross-stitch pattern. And I'll insert a picture here so you can see them. But that's going to be an upcoming giveaway. And she's going to send the PDF to whoever wins. So you do not have to be in the United States. I am going to try to find some designers that either will offer a pattern or I can purchase where they can send you a PDF so that I don't have to limit it to the United States. I will occasionally have another project bag. I need to make me some. I keep using these Ziploc bags. But I found some other bags at Dollar Tree that I've been using. They're pretty good. All right, here's her pattern. Home is where your honey is. And my home is where my honey is. And I turned this into a quilted wall hanging. And can you see the little hanger that I have here? It's got bees on it. I think it'll show. Yeah, it's got bees. And this one was stitched on, it says, it was, to me it's a mystery because this was blessed to me. So I had to take in account that it was already written. So it says it was, the fabric was 28 count, hard anger natural, but when I measured it, it measured out to 22 count. So what I did, I stitched this over 2. So this is a little bit bigger than her pattern calls for. but I like the way it turned out. I stitched over 2, but I used 4 threads. That way I could get the coverage. So that again is by Darlene Dion Designs. Go check out her floss tube, because in order to win, when I offer the patterns up, and it'll be the 1st of June, when I offer the patterns up, you have to go and subscribe to her floss tube channel as well as mine. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, because I have found out how to check. So now that I have the computer and I can go in there and pull up YouTube, I can see who's subscribed and who's not. So be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up. All right, some more stitchy kindness that I got. Java Girl, Christy. She had a giveaway on Instagram, and she was giving away the Summer Home by Fat Quarter Shop, along with this little fancy box, a magnetic box, and the floss tags, and the floss, and the fabric by Fabric Flair. It's marble white pine, and it's 14 count. So I'm looking forward to starting that. It just came in the mail today. So thank you, Christy, for sending that to me. I appreciate it so much. Let me show you by Finally a Farm Girl. She's going to be the next designer that I'm going to promote in the following month. So she's going to be promoted toward the end of June, and I'm going to promote her for a couple of times, and then we're going to have a giveaway with her designs. So here's the one that I'm working on. And that one is Abe's Parade. And this one, I've done it on 22 count. The kind of fabric, the color of the fabric's a mystery. This also was given to me. And since I wanted my design a little bit larger, I decided to do it. I stitched over 2 on 22 count. And on the beard, I used the 321, no, not 321, 310 and 04. And I blended it so he would have a gray beard, so it would have a little bit of definition from the hat and his beard. And then I also gave him some eyebrows. I thought he needed some eyebrows. And I also put his mouth to where he's kind of cocking a smile. So every time I look at it, I can smile. I still have to do the flag. I'm not sure how far I'm going to go on it, because I thought about doing a stand-up. That's why I wanted to do it so big. So I'm probably going to stay with that idea. And if I do, then I'll probably go back and stitch it as a pillow, smaller version. So go check out Christy, Finally a Farm Girl, because you're going to have to like her or subscribe to her channel in order to win when we give her design away. Let me show you what's on my wrist. This was given to me by my soon-to-be daughter-in-law, Kelly. And the day is fast approaching. They're getting married May 27th. Can you believe it? I can't wait. They're just going to the courthouse. They have a big vacation planned, so they're going to go ahead and go to the courthouse and go out to Yellowstone with her parents. And then I'll insert a picture here she gave me, and it says Grandma's Sewing Room, and it's a metal round thing she found, I think, on Etsy, and it hangs on my sewing room door. And then another stitchy kindness real quick from my daughter Heather. She said this reminded her of my grandmother, little grandma. And the colors, definitely. My grandmother loved lavender. So this is a full coverage dimension kit. I'm going to have to get to stitching that. Thank you, Heather. All right, now get on to some of my works in progress. This one is Little House Needleworks, and this is a finish, but I'm going to add to it. But since it's just one little pattern, I can call it a finish, right? Okay, it's Little House Needleworks Hometown Holiday. and I did the quilt shop. And this one's been folded up in my little bag. I'm sorry, I didn't press this. So I'm trying to decide what's going to go next. Am I going to put my house again? Because I've already stitched it to make a pillow. But I thought, how ideal would it be to stitch my house and then do the needle workshop, you know, make it fun, make it a perfect little town, and then also do the church. Everything within walking distance, the quilt shop, the church, the needle shop. Oh, that would be perfect. And the grocery store. Yeah, that would be life. And I house this in this little bag. I got this from the Dollar Tree, so it was $1.25. The patterns fit right inside, easy. My card that I write on fits inside. And then I can fold up the fabric and it fits inside. And so it doesn't take much room. Like I said, I need to make me some project bags, but as long as I can get something for $1.25, why bother? I like to have finishes, not just pretty bags. I like to have pretty stitches that I have finished. A little bit of work on I Love Quilts. This is an old pattern that I've had, seems like forever. So I've had this since the 90s. And I've always wanted to stitch I Love Quilts. So I made a little bit of progress on this. And I have 2 frames. I did a review on one of them, and I like that for my hoops. And for the scroll frame, it will fit on that, but I don't like to change it out. I leave it on this one that I had gotten at Hobby Lobby. We extended the arm a little bit. So I was able to get some work done on that. I need to find me some buttons to put in here. I think that's pretty much all that I have been working on. I haven't been able to work a whole lot on my other stitches. We've been having a lot of celebrations. I did have some more Stitchy Kindness. Another one on Instagram, a bit full of scrap stuff. I'll insert a picture right here. She did a giveaway, and that was from the Fat Quarter Shop also. And it was Bloom Where You're Planted. So I also won the floss for it, and then white pine board, and it's 14 count Ada also. So now I'm going to get on to some haul. This is haul from the last couple of weeks from shopping and all that kind of stuff. All right, my husband took me to Sandy's X Stitch in Hendersonville. And I got this pattern. And at first I was just going to stitch this for my good friend Rhonda. And then I had an idea. Why not give her the pattern too, and we can stitch it for each other. And that way we can be working on it to exchange it for Christmas. So that way I have something she stitched and she has something else that I stitched. And oh, that's right. She already stitched me a mug rug too. So this will be something else that I have that she stitched. And then I got Happiness Blessings. It says, may your troubles be less and your blessings be more, and nothing but happiness come through your door. And it's an Irish blessing. And then from Fat Quarter Shop, I got the Berry Bakery. I look forward to sewing this. I know a couple of friends that love strawberries. I'm just now getting into doing some strawberries. And then I had to join in with Niecy Lynn, and I've already mentioned this before, but I'm getting ready to start it, and that was the Patriotic Barn series, or Patriotic Barn Trio. So I've got to get busy on that this week and get started so I don't get behind. And then another one I got was High Rules. So I can't wait to start this one. And this one will probably be some pillows as well as a wall hanging. I started hanging my Christmas rules and autumn rules up on my cabinet in my kitchen. And so I needed something else for the rest of the time of the year. So this works perfectly. So I'm going to do that. And then from Happy Little Stitch Shop, they finally got in the cookbook templates. So now I get to start on my chicken quilt. And the fabric is right up there. So I can't wait to get started on it. And then, of course, it couldn't travel by itself, so I got stitchy stars. So that's another Lori Holt pattern. Now onto some quilting. All right, I'm doing the remix series by Lori Holt. And so I had to play catch up. I was, I believe, 4 blocks behind. And I'm just using scraps. Some of them are Lori Holt fabrics, some of them are not. And I still need to stitch these down. These are just tacked on, glued just a little bit. So I still need to stitch those down. And this will probably be a to-go project for me. We're going to a quilt show this weekend, so I may take 1 or 2 of these and work on it in the car while we're getting there. This was really fun to make. I never thought about doing it the way Lori had talked about, sewing 4 blocks together and then cutting out the template. So that was fun. I'm going to be using that idea some more. And here's the next block. So did y'all notice I found a way to use my green points because I didn't know whether or not I was going to keep them or not because of having the leaves. I decided to go darker with the leaves, so maybe I could just work in that green. And then here is the last block that I worked on. So those are ready to stitch. And then here's the others that I've already completed. So I'll refresh your memory. And if you want to catch what else that I've been working on, all my Riley Blake blocks are in the Quilty Tube video that I uploaded a week or so ago. So go check that out. But I'm going to try to start putting my quilts in with the floss tube so they won't be so hard to find. Because I noticed a lot of it didn't get out there like it normally does with the cross stitch. So be sure to hit the thumbs up because that helps get my video out there. Even commenting helps get the video out there. I'm going to insert a couple of pictures to show you how I decorate with my quilts and my cross stitch. So you'll see some pictures here showing you how I decorate with some of my quilting and with my cross stitching. Okay, I wanted to share a little bit with you my journey. How do I stay strong in the Lord? First of all, every day when I arise, I thank God for the day that He's given me. I do my best to thank Him every day. And of course, I study His Word. And yes, there is days that I fail. There are days that I wake up and I stay so busy, the day's about over, and I get so regretful because I failed to read His Word. I know God's not going to punish me for not spending time in His Word, but who I hurt is myself, because it helps me grow. It helps me stay strong in Him. So in the mornings, the first thing I usually do is, besides thanking Him for the day, then I get up and my husband makes us a tea. He started making us some ginger root, turmeric root, lemon, and a little bit of cinnamon and honey. And that's what we've been drinking every morning instead of just drinking coffee. Since I had gotten some health challenges, we started kind of studying a little bit more and going a little bit deeper of what we needed to change. There's always room for improvement. No matter how perfect one thinks you are, or I am, because I'm nowhere near it. We think it in our mind much more than others can see, because others can see the truth, especially if they know you and they see your day-to-day life. They can see your downfalls. They can see what you're good at, what you're bad at, how your personality is. Does it change? And there's always room for improvement, and that's what I strive to do every day. So in the mornings after I rise, then while I'm waiting for my husband to make the tea, I start stitching, very first thing. And then after I have my stitching, generally I'll make some breakfast, and then it's time for me to sit down and get into God's Word. Sometimes before breakfast, sometimes after breakfast. But then I get into His word, and then I spend a little bit of time in prayer. As I go throughout my day, I'm continually praying. And I read my email, because I get prayer requests in the email, and I take time to pray over them right then so I don't forget. But I try to just pray throughout the day, and that way I'm reminded when I'm looking at my email to go ahead and pray right then. Don't wait. And when you come across someone and they say, I need you to pray for me, don't just say, okay, I'll pray for you. Go ahead and pray for them, because they really need it at that moment. So go ahead and pray, because you might forget later. And then after I get in His Word, then I usually come in my sewing room. And that's when I do some more praying and cutting and sewing. And then after lunch, or I stop for lunch, and then I come back in here, and then about 2 o'clock, then that's when I start wrapping it up, and I put my quilting stuff away, and then I go in there and start supper, and then I sit down and stitch. And then on days like yesterday when I have to clean, I'm cleaning for about 15 minutes, and then I'm stitching. I don't time myself. When I say, okay, it's time to get up and get some more cleaning done, I go ahead and get some more cleaning done. And I don't get myself wore out. I get my cleaning done throughout the day, but yet I'm getting some stitching done. And then if it's getting too close to time, my husband's going to come home and I need to get supper, then I'm working more diligently, trying to get everything done and keep the stitching in the chair. I'll get back to it after supper, and that's usually what I do. I stitch from about 5, 6 o'clock until about 9 o'clock, and that's when it's time just to close everything up and hit the hay. Today's scripture is going to be in Psalms 119, and it's verse 140. Thy word is very pure, therefore thy servant love it. So we have got to love His word. If we love His word, we read His word, it's going to be placed within us. And when it's needed, it will come out from us. And it will be a blessing to others that haven't heard His word. We may see something that someone else hasn't seen in a while, or maybe never seen. Because every time I read the Bible through, I find stuff that comes out at me that I said, there's no way I've seen this before. I would have remembered this. So how does things just keep popping out at us The more times we go through his word, we find more things because God's speaking to us. He's finding the right timing for us to hear his word. And so therefore, then we can help apply it to our life, or maybe it's there to minister to someone else. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and subscribe. And don't forget, we're having a giveaway at the first part of June. I'm going to try to do a floss tube again a little bit more frequently than what I have been. So maybe a week, maybe 10 days, but I'm going to try to get it a lot sooner than I have been. Maybe I'll have some more to show you. So God bless everyone.